It's one of the greatest mysteries in the history of written language. A book that shouldn't exist, and yet it does. More than 600 years old, written in an alphabet no one has ever seen before, filled with drawings of strange plants that don't grow anywhere on Earth, and diagrams of stars that no astronomer can identify. Scholars, cryptographers, even artificial intelligence, all have tried to read it. None have succeeded. They call it the Voynich Manuscript. And to this day, no one knows who wrote it, what it means, or why it was created. In this video, we'll explore the story of a mysterious book that has defied centuries of investigation. A book that seems to whisper secrets from another world. From its strange discovery in an Italian villa to the modern digital age where even supercomputers have failed to decode it. This is the true story of the unreadable book. To understand the legend of the Voynich Manuscript, we must first travel back in time to the year 1912, and to a man whose curiosity would change the history of cryptography forever. In the early 20th century, an antiquarian bookseller named Wilfrid Voynich traveled across Europe in search of rare manuscripts. He was a man obsessed with the hidden corners of history, the kind of man who could spend hours in a dusty archive chasing the scent of forgotten knowledge. One day, in the quiet halls of Villa Mondragone, a Jesuit college near Rome, Voynich was shown a collection of old volumes, among them a thick book bound in calfskin. Its pages, filled with indecipherable writing and vivid illustrations, immediately caught his eye. Voynich bought it. And from that moment, the mystery began. He had no idea what he was holding in his hands, but the moment he opened it, he must have felt something. That silent thrill of discovering something beyond explanation. Inside, there were 240 vellum pages, each covered in looping alien script. No recognizable words, no known symbols, just lines and curls forming what looked like a language, but one that existed nowhere else. And the illustrations, plants that looked almost real, yet subtly wrong, as if drawn from another world. Naked women bathing in pools of green liquid, constellations that didn't match our sky. Voynich didn't just find an old book. He had uncovered a riddle written in ink, a riddle that has haunted scholars for more than a century. But the story of this manuscript didn't begin in 1912. Radiocarbon dating later proved that the parchment was made between 1404 and 1438. That means the book had already been centuries old when Voynich found it. Who wrote it? For what purpose? And what kind of mind could create something so complex, so beautiful, and so unreadable? Ever since its discovery, some of the greatest minds on Earth have tried to break its code. But every attempt, no matter how brilliant, has ended in failure. In the early 20th century, as word of the strange book spread through Europe, scholars began sending letters to Voynich. They wanted to help. Linguists, historians, cryptographers, everyone wanted to solve the riddle. One of the first theories came from William Romaine Newbold, a professor at the University of Pennsylvania. He believed the manuscript was written by the 13th century philosopher Roger Bacon, one of the earliest advocates of experimental science. Newbold claimed to have decoded hidden microscopic symbols within each letter, messages about astronomy and biology centuries ahead of their time. But when Newbold died, other scholars examined his work and discovered his method was flawed. He had seen patterns that weren't really there. The first great attempt to decode the Voynich manuscript ended in collapse. Then came the era of World War II, and with it, a new generation of codebreakers. Men and women trained to crack the toughest ciphers in the world, the German Enigma, Japanese military codes, secret wartime transmissions. If anyone could read the Voynich manuscript, surely it was them. Among them was William Friedman, the legendary cryptanalyst who led the team that broke Japan's Purple Code. Friedman and his wife Elizabeth, both pioneers of modern cryptography, spent decades studying the Voynich text. They analyzed every letter, every word, every repeated symbol, their conclusion. The text had structure. It followed linguistic rules. It wasn't random, and yet, it wasn't any known language on Earth. By the time Friedman died in 1969, he called the Voynich Manuscript an elaborate hoax, if not the most successful cipher in history. Even the man who broke World War codes could not break this one. Then came the digital age, computers, artificial intelligence. Surely, the machines that could decode human DNA and map the universe could read a single book. But they couldn't. AI algorithms identified patterns resembling natural language, syntax, grammar, frequency distributions. But every theory collapsed when applied to meaning. The book remained silent. Even now, the most advanced language models can only make guesses. Hebrew, Nahuatl, an extinct dialect, a constructed code? Every possibility ends the same way, inconclusive. After 600 years, the Voynich Manuscript still refuses to reveal its voice. When logic fails, imagination takes over. And with a mystery this deep, theories have multiplied like shadows in the dark. Some believe the Voynich Manuscript is a scientific notebook, perhaps written by a brilliant mind hiding knowledge that was forbidden at the time. The strange plants could be medicinal herbs. The bathing women could represent alchemy, transformation, or even fertility experiments. Its coded language might have been a way to protect dangerous secrets, the kind that could have led to persecution or death in the Middle Ages. One theory points to Leonardo da Vinci's contemporaries, or even to female scholars or healers whose work had to remain invisible. But no historical record confirms it. Others argue the book is nothing more than a clever hoax, perhaps a medieval prank designed to fool a rich collector. A 15th-century con artist, inventing an alphabet and drawing nonsense to sell it for gold. It's a tempting idea, but here's the problem. The manuscript's structure is too consistent. Its word frequencies, its grammar patterns, they behave like a real language. If it was a hoax, it was one so complex that even modern computers can't replicate it. Could a 15th-century scam artist really have outsmarted the 21st century world? Then there are those who dream bigger. They believe the Voynich Manuscript is a message from a lost civilization, perhaps the remnants of Atlantis, or another ancient culture wiped from history. The strange plants might be species from lands that no longer exist. The celestial diagrams could map a different world, or even a different age. It sounds fantastic, but not impossible. History has erased entire civilizations before. Why not one that wrote in a language we no longer understand? And finally, the most controversial theory of all, that the Voynich Manuscript is not of this world. Proponents claim the handwriting, the plants, and the astronomical diagrams all appear almost human, but not quite. Like the perspective of an outsider trying to interpret our planet. A visitor, an observer, someone, or something, writing down what they saw on Earth. Of course, there's no proof. Only the unending mystery of the pages themselves. Whatever the truth may be, one fact remains. The Voynich Manuscript is unique. It doesn't match any known language, any known code, any known form of communication. It stands alone, a silent witness from another time. Today, the Voynich Manuscript rests inside a climate-controlled vault in the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library at Yale University. It's catalogued as MS-408, a simple number for what may be the strangest artifact in human history. Scholars can now access digital scans of every page, meticulously photographed in high definition. You can flip through them online, just as Wilfred Voynich once did over a century ago. And yet, even in full clarity, the text reveals nothing. Each page, written in delicate ink on calfskin parchment, remains as unreadable as the day it was created. No key, no translation, no pattern that leads to meaning. Over the decades, experts have used every tool available, from linguistic modeling to machine learning to statistical analysis of the glyphs themselves. The results are the same. The structure is linguistic, but the content defies logic. Some AI researchers claim the book might be written in a constructed language, a personal code designed by one person and never shared. Others argue it's an unknown natural language, perhaps an extinct dialect that left no descendants. And yet, no theory fits perfectly. Even the illustrations remain beyond explanation. The plants, partly familiar, partly alien, refuse classification. The astronomical charts show suns, moons, and stars, but in configurations that don't exist in our skies. It is as if the book were written in a parallel world, a place where nature, science, and art followed different rules. In 2020, a new digital analysis identified recurring word groups, suggesting that the book might describe biological cycles or recipes. Some scholars proposed it could be an herbal medicine guide, written in a secret code to protect trade secrets or sacred knowledge. But once again, no translation has ever held up to scrutiny. Each new claim fades like ink washed by time. And so the book waits. Locked behind glass, its pages preserved, its meaning still out of reach. Some say it's a hoax, others a treasure of lost wisdom. But perhaps it's something more, something humanity isn't ready to read. For more than 6 centuries, the Voynich Manuscript has outlived kings, empires, and civilizations. Wars have come and gone. Languages have evolved and disappeared. But this book endures, untouched, unbroken, unread. Perhaps that's the real message. Maybe it was never meant to be read, only to exist, a symbol of the limits of human understanding, a mirror showing how much we want to know, and how little we truly do. Every page of the Voynich Manuscript is like a whisper from the past, calling us to keep searching, to look deeper into the mysteries that history left behind, because maybe, hidden in those strange words, is a story not of aliens or alchemy, but of us, our endless need to find meaning in the unknown. So, what do you believe the Voynich Manuscript is hiding? A forgotten language, an ancient code, a deception, or a revelation? Tell us your theory in the comments below. And if you want to keep exploring the secrets history tried to keep hidden, subscribe and join us next time as we uncover another mystery buried in time.